and the Mike Crook Show with our host, Mike Crook. Mike, we were talking last week about all the different patches, and the technology's unbelievable. But the mainstay, the first one that you got to be wearing every day is the X39. And I wanted to dive deeper into the technology, a little bit more the history, and then we could dive into also how we would do this wearable. What are the mistakes that people make that they don't see the results when you're talking about the number of people who see results off of this patch? And also to document what new feelings do you feel? Because there's so many different things when stem cells are working in the body, right?
Right. So going back to your first thing is the mechanism. Just like when sunlight hits your skin and it forms vitamin D in your body from that photobiomodulation process where the sun is hitting it, the phototherapy, you're doing the same thing with the light frequency, but instead of it coming from the sun, it's coming from your body. You're putting out infrared light frequencies all the time. That's why when people can look through a night scope or a night binoculars, they can see you because they're seeing what they would call commonly your heat signature. And light produces heat, but it's light. It's actually light coming from your body. So this is a light frequency that is on a specific spectrum that is hitting the patch, and that crystal structure that's there reflects it back to the body. And that reflection back to the body starts the process of forming a specific copper peptide. Now, there's many different copper peptides. We activate a different copper peptide with the X49, but the X39 affects a GHK-Cu, that copper peptide. And if I were to try to read the GHK label, whenever I read it off to somebody, they say, send me that in text messages or an email, because they can't ever write it down because it's like three different words that are crazy words for people to pronounce or look at. So anyways, GHK-Cu, that copper peptide, does a lot of things, but one of the things that it does is activate your stem cells. And I make fun of it and make light of it, saying that it goes around the body and slaps your stem cells upside the face and says, hey, wake up, get back to work. And so they start doing what they did before, which is fixing, repairing, healing, doing things in the body. Again, just as a disclaimer, the patch doesn't do any healing in the body. It doesn't do anything except activate a copper peptide. And I make that slight like that's nothing, but it took 10 years for them to investigate and figure this out and put it into a product that could do this, that you could stick to your body, that you could wear every day. That's miraculous. That's amazing. To me, it's simple because I've been wearing them for a year and a half and seen what the results are. I've also read all the studies on them, and so I know a lot more about them over time now. But that specific copper peptide is going to activate your stem cells. Now, your stem cells are the beginning cells of the human body. That's what you started out as, a stem cell. And so as you go through life, your stem cells become inactivated, and this is going to activate them. So go back to your second question. What was your
No,
second?
so I like just talking about that technology and how it works. So I'm definitely just excited about it. And that's the truth, because I know with someone who was a caffeine with all the biohacking I'm doing, but I've always seen when I put that patch on, my energy level goes through the roof. I feel younger. I look younger, unless I don't shave, right? But I have that clarity. There's just certain things that this patch is able to do that's just unreal. So to talk about specifically enough when you put it on, say it didn't do anything for me. This is what I want to educate people on this show. Once you decide to try this technology, what you're doing, and this is what's really amazing, what you're doing when you decide to try this technology is you need to now feel your body. You need to listen to your body. You have to look at your aches and pains. Do I have less aches and pains now? It's great to look at all these things, because what's going to happen is you're not going to recognize this till you have a conversation with somebody. Oh my gosh, I do have more energy. I am sleeping better. I am doing these things. I feel younger. I feel like I'm able to do more things. So talk about when it's working, stem cells are working in the body. What do stem cells do? I'm just more and more intrigued by that whole process. We have to get some doctors on for sure to talk more about this, but how when the stem cells are being regenerated, right? Is that pretty much what's happening? Reactivated?
Reactivated is a better term. So going back to what you're saying about the copper peptide, because it's really the copper peptide that's doing a lot of the things that you're seeing happen. So one of the things that you're not going to you're not going to get a feeling of, is it's resetting over 4,000 genes to a younger, more healthier state than where they were before. So we know that by taking resveratrol, for instance, which is an antioxidant, that it will reset two genes. Just two. This is 4,000 plus genes that this resets to a younger state. So think about that. If you've got a myriad of different genes in your bodies, their expression is a younger state expression, then you're going to get things that are different results. So if those genes have changed over time, they have had variations to them because of your environment, because of your eating habits, all these different things. That's part of aging. But now you're reversing them, and you're literally reversing aging in the process. So that's why people see hair get darker. Many different friends that their hair has just gotten darker, visibly darker, and why it works differently with that person versus another, why one gets quicker results in one area versus another. It's just, I think it's unique to their body. I haven't read any science or figured it out to see what there is that makes it different from each human being. But the results with it, why is one getting better results than another or more immediate results? Well, I think I attribute it primarily to them hydrating, them getting the right amount of water in their body and getting good quality water that has electrolytes in it, or either mixing electrolytes with it. If you're doing that, then you're giving it everything it needs to do what it needs to do to form the copper peptide in the first place, and then, of course, to be active in going around the body. Then a lot of people have inflammation that's just hyper, really bad inflammation. If you were to test their SED rates, their C-reactive protein, you would see just that their inflammation is off the charts. And that's creating a lot of pain and problems in the body, a lot of discomforts. And so when the stem cells go to that section of the body, this is what the science tells us, is that if it meets up with inflammation, that immune type of response, the body attacks the stem cells and they don't survive as much. And so when you put an anti-inflammatory on top of that, like the Aeon patch, or you're taking our cellular dyes, anything else that's also helping and assisting what those stem cells that are coming from the copper peptide reactivating, then it helps the copper peptide do what it needs to do. So a person's results may be based upon whether or not they're really badly inflamed and what they're having to do to get past that point in time there. But we're still seeing that the vast majority within 3 weeks to 3 months are getting just amazing results, from better sleep to seeing floaters disappear from their eyes, vision getting better, things that seem minor that they don't notice. So when we're talking to people about what do they do with this, how do they see what's happening in their body, we tell them just pull out a health tracker. Now, there's different teams within LifeWave company that put out different health trackers. LifeWave's got one themselves that ask you to assess specific things in your body and what they are. Maybe next week I'll be ready and have a health tracker that we can share on the screen here. But it's going to ask you to assess different areas where you are now. But I just tell a customer, I just say, you've got things that you know about are going on in your body. Whatever they are, write them down. And when they change, write that down, when the date is, and then notify me. Let me know so I can rejoice with you that they've changed, but also so I can document that as well for my uses, which is just to be able to testify to other people that we're getting these results and how frequently we're getting them with these different individuals. But it's going to vary. But a lot of common things like better sleep, you're waking up more energized. So when you've worn it the day before, then when you get up that next morning, you're just a different person. You're there. So the first day I wore it, I didn't experience anything that day. I went through sleep that night, had the best sleep, was like sleeping like a teenager, slept a full 8 hours, woke up fully energized, didn't feel like I needed a cup of coffee, went and got it anyways because it was just a habit, and then started sipping on it. And I'm thinking, why do I need this? I'm feeling like I've got energy like crazy here. But then day after day, you're doing this. And so if you have forgotten it because time has passed on, you don't realize that you're getting the energy. So I've had customers say, well, I don't know if I'm getting anything. I'm going to stop. And I'm going, don't do that. But if you do, you're going to realize what you have, because you're going to feel those things or see those things that you're really experiencing that are so minor and they've accumulated, but you're not really paying attention to them. And then all of a sudden, they call me up and say, hey, I got an interesting story to tell you of experience, how sometimes it just takes longer and there's other things going on in people's bodies. I've got a friend named Larry. He lives out in Dallas area. Larry had been through a major vehicle accident many years ago. We're talking 20, 30 years ago, and has had just lots and lots of problems in his body. I can't even begin to describe them. But one of the major things for him is neuropathy in his feet and legs, and then vision issues that he's having, and then brain fog. Just when I first talked to him about this, he says, says, Mike, I can't even get my head wrapped around this knowledge because my brain just is not working well anymore. It's just been this way for a long period of time. And I said, do you think it's the medication you're taking or what? And he said, I just don't know, but I watch TV shows that would interest me 30 years ago that are educational, and now I can't even get into them because I just can't remember and wrap on it. So he's going through month after month saying, I don't see anything. I don't feel anything. There's nothing happening like you're talking about. I'm not getting better sleep, but I take a sleep aid to go to sleep at night because of the pain and the other issues I've got, the other discomforts that are going on. And I said, well, just stay with it. Just stay with it. Just stick with the patch every day. And as a promise to me, he did. Well, the 6-month rolls forward. He gets his 6-month shipment, and all of a sudden he wakes up one morning and get this: he has no neuropathy, nothing in his feet or legs, and it's just gone. Well, he doesn't tell me about it immediately because he thinks, well, this may come back tomorrow, And so the next day goes along, still no neuropathy. A whole week goes by, no neuropathy. Calls me up, says, hey, I got to tell you, this is starting to work. I go, starting to work? It's been working all the time. It's been resetting your genes. It's doing all these things. I know it's working. You just haven't felt something, but now you've felt something. He says, well, I've got something that's huge, neuropathy, gone. And I said, okay, cool. And he said, let me tell you something else. He said, in the last 3 or 4 days, he said, I have been able to digest all that information you've been sending me about this technology. And I'm watching TV shows that were interesting to me, that were, investigative journalism and informational shows. And I'm digesting it. My brain is working again like it should. And I'm going, it took 5 months to get you there. But sometimes people quit before they get to the 5 months. They think, well, nothing's happening. They don't see it. So that's why we encourage people to document what is currently your conditions of your body and then what your results are afterwards. And so it's amazing. It never ceases to amaze me as to how much people miss that's going on with them. We often talk about floaters in the eyes, and then all of a sudden somebody goes, wow, I used to have floaters. They're gone. I never noticed it. And because it's just things that are small that you see happen, but they are happening. They're just something that you're not paying attention to. You haven't documented. You haven't looked at and seen and said, well, this is it. When you go to the doctor for your eye exam and you're going early because you think your eyes glasses are not working well. You're looking at them and going, these don't work. I need readers still, but I don't need the uppers and middles anymore. I've already had my glasses changed out twice because I'm going, what's wrong? And the doctor's going, well, let me examine you. And they go through that new machine that takes that beautiful picture of your retina and all that stuff. And they come back and they go, let me put you in the chair and put the lenses on you and see what works. And all of a sudden she smiles at you and says, your eyes have gotten better. That's why you can't see out of them. And you go, what? My eyes have gotten better? And they go, yeah, your eyes have gotten better. Okay. And then next time you have the same problem, you kind of have an idea. My eyes have gotten better again. And then you go in and the doctor says, I'm not going to recommend a prescription for your uppers. If you want to keep glasses, you just need readers. You can go get some readers, or I can redo your lenses where they just have the readers in the bottom of them. I like these transitions because when I go outside, I put it up against the light outside. I come back, they're dark, and I don't have to put on exchange glasses and such. And I can still read my car. It's just easier on me. But twice going back to an eye doctor. So there's just things that are going to happen that are gradual, that are so small that someone says, I don't see anything happening. But it's happening. It's taking time. It just will get there. And the things that you're wanting, your fill in the blank, I call it, your thing that you're wanting it to happen with is just not happened up until now. And so we just encourage people to keep staying with it and keep on it. I don't think there's any reason why I would not wear these stem cell activating patches for the rest of my life. I'm 62 years old, will be 63 in February next year. And I don't see a reason why, as a body hacking type of thing, why would I not want the stem cell activity to be there?
100%.
And I'm seeing things today I didn't see 6 months ago.
So I think, Mike, what we've learned, and this is really a lesson learned, is once you get on the patch, and this will be an interesting thing for you to look at when you send this to your team and different people that they've gotten on the activation. What you're talking about, a good percentage of success, but of the ones that aren't, they're not doing things right, and it could be because of the inflammation. That's a great point. Then they have to try another patch as well. So to look at these things, and we could do this on the podcast, have other testimonials, and be able to really see, holy cow, you know what? I think the reason why it didn't work is the body was still in tremendous trauma. I guess you got to try the ion patch, or you try some of the other technology that LifeWave has. Yes, but also take a journal and say to yourself, do you really document all the pains you have every day? Do you document any of the things you just say, hey, it's part of getting old? We don't have to think about that anymore. It's about getting old. We're in a new world now that getting old and aging doesn't have to be a thing. That's what I want to close with. Do you agree?
I agree. I agree. This is totally reverse aging. There's so many things you can do with your body that do that. That's what we need to focus on. And I tell you that as a company, and again, I'm just a partner with them. I think LifeWave is the cutting edge of where age reversing is going. And if you want to be on the front edge of it, that's where you need to be, is to look at what they're offering and what they're coming up with next, because they're researching, they're looking for everything that's the next generation of anti-aging stuff that you can do, without a doubt.
Fantastic. And we're going to have a website that we're in the process of building, and it's going to have the Mike Crook Show. But if you want to DM me or Mike, reach out to us. If you want to learn more about LifeWave, you can do that. If you're listening to the radio show, say, hey, Neil, what is this? But last question for you. This one's really an interesting one, because this is when people biohack and they take other things. When you get the stem cell active to activate, some of these other biohacks are going to work even better as well, correct? Other types of biohacking treatment. Would you agree, as a medical guy that, sells other medical type services to people and doctors?
Well, when you do one thing that's beneficial for your body, you're going to see other things that result on top of it. Yes. So, for instance, I don't drink coffee anymore, so I don't have acid reflux. So then the acid reflux was doing something else in my body. I'm getting results with that. I don't know exactly what all those are yet, because some of them probably haven't appeared yet. But knocking coffee's got some great benefits to it. I'm just saying that for me, it was causing problems physiologically in my body, so I had to take omeprazole. So again, the omeprazole solved the problem, but then the omeprazole was causing all sorts of other problems. So getting one thing to work right for you, then it's going to cascade into other things, and you're going to get other benefits. And I think that's a whole part of what the stem cells are doing. These days, if Google follows me and knows everything I'm doing, it would say, what is the number one research thing that Mike Crook is doing every day? It's, will stem cell therapy work on fill in the blank? And I'm finding that the research is out there that says that stem cell therapy is working on everything. There's not a lot of it that's conclusive yet, but we are, as a company, because we've got thousands of representatives and millions of customers who are using this technology every day, we're actually seeing it in the marketplace, that people are getting these hacks in life, these things that are changing, that are cascading from one to the other, that they're just, I don't do this anymore, this is not happening, this is not, because it's adding on top of each other. And we're getting the experience of that in the marketplace that maybe research hasn't gotten to yet, but research is looking at it. Just Google it. With AI today now, they combine all the researches and pop in and give you an answer. And it's amazing to me what the research on this is doing and where it's going. So yes, the answer to your question, yes, one thing's going to lead to another, and you're going to get healthier as a result of it.
All right. Appreciate it, Mike. That was the special simulcast Haley Show and the Mike Crook Show, guys.